Good morning here on Monday, January 25th. I'm going to encourage you to open up the pages 150 and 151 for English. We're still talking about adjectives, but now I want to do comparing with adjectives. And I want you to still remember, these adjectives still modify or describe the noun. But what you're doing, you might remember when we compared and contrasted in science, we used like the Venn diagram a lot, and you have to tell how they're alike, or how they are alike and how they're different. And so you're comparing two things, or you're comparing in sometimes multiple things. Well, that's what adjectives can do too. If you notice, we have a short pencil. You might ask yourself, what kind of pencil? The short pencil. Well, you can also have a shorter pencil. Notice this pencil is shorter than that pencil. You can still say, what kind of pencil? The shorter pencil. That still goes and describes pencil. You notice it just comparing the two. And then you have this one. Oh, well, this is the shortest pencil of all. What kind of pencil? The shortest pencil. They're still adjectives. They're just also kind of doubling up and comparing as well. You can do it the same long. The long pencil. Well, this is a longer pencil than that one. And the top one is the longest of all. Now, these are nice photos. And we again have the girl is loud. Well, she's louder. And she's the loudest of all. That's all great, but what you have to be very, very careful of is when to use the ER and when to use the EST. And there is a trick. There is kind of a rule, so to speak. You use the ER ending when you are talking about two things and only two things. You use the EST when you are comparing more than two things or three or more. For instance, you would say, the dog is big. Again, what kind of dog? The big dog. Now notice the horse is bigger. And what are you comparing? You're only comparing the dog with the horse. So the horse is bigger. And then we have the elephant is the biggest. But notice what's all being compared. You're comparing all three animals and the elephant is the biggest. That is correctly used. You would not say the horse is biggest than the dog, because that's not correct. You only use the EST when you're comparing more than two things. If it's just comparing the dog and the horse, you say the horse is bigger than the dog. Again, which horse? The bigger horse. Still an adjective, you're just comparing the two. Here's another good example. Here's a big robot. Hopefully it's a friendly robot, not going to take over the world. But anyways, what kind of robot? Big robot. Then, there's a bigger robot. Notice how many are being compared. Only two. That's why you use the ER ending. And then if you have three or more, then it's the biggest robot because you're comparing three or more things. Then the EST is correct. And yes, you do sometimes need to double the G, but that's for a future lesson. At any rate, you have basically two choices in all of these, either the ER or EST. Don't just write one and hope it's right. Yes, you got a 50-50 chance, but you're going to have to look into the sentence to understand, is there two things being compared? That means you use the ER. If there's more than two things, three or more, then it's EST. Let's look at the example here. Today is blank than yesterday. I know the word's written in there, but notice you're only comparing two things, right? Today and yesterday. Two things. That means you use the ER. Today is colder than yesterday. And again, if you mistakenly put in coldest, just read the sentence. Today is coldest than yesterday. Something in your brain is saying that doesn't sound right. Well, if there's two things being compared, it's ER. Let's do the first two together. Last week was blank than this week. Is it warmer or warmest? Again, decipher here how many things are being compared? Well, we got last week and this week. That's two things, right? Last week is being compared to this week, two things. So I'm going to use the ER. Last week was warmer than this week. Well on your way. Let's do number 2. Tomorrow will be the blank day of all. Well, okay, we got tomorrow, but we also got every other day, right? That of all is going to be a clue that you're comparing all the days at way more than 3, right? So there we're going to use the EST. And again, if you read the sentence but plug it in, that can help you out. Tomorrow will be the coldest day of all. Again, that of all is going to really help you out. You talk about all of them, way more than 3 or 3 or more. Here's your assignment for the day, guys. I'm going to really wish you Lord's blessings as we start this week in English.